On this episode, we're in the Adelaide Hills. We're at Vella Wines and we're doing emerging varietals. Emerging varietals. We have got the troublemaker, Pinot Blanc. And we've also got the Gambler, which is the Gamay. Emerging varieties, Adelaide Hills, Australian Wine Weekly, awesome wines, great people, always a great story, great people, and awesome food. Food pairings to go with it. Watch, learn, comment, win. Okay, so Jen, we've snuck you on, even though you didn't really want to come on, but if you've got your own wine, you have to at least give me a glass of it and talk to me and tell me your wine, is it made the way you like it?
I do love it, yeah. Yep.
And it's an Adelaide Hills Chardonnay?
Adelaide Hills Chardonnay, yep.
Yep, the Hills famous for their Chardonnay?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
So where does the fruit come from?
It comes from the vineyard that we're on now, from Matty Hill Smith's vineyard.
Yeah. So how old is the vineyard?
25 years old.
25 years old. Wow. You can see it's a drinking show, not really a tasting show. So
yep.
The name of the Chardonnay is named after you.
Yes, Harvest Widow.
Harvest Widow. It's probably a little bit self-explanatory, but where did the name come from?
Well, Mark was obviously busy doing vintage. I was at home looking after the kids.
Looking after the boys?
The boys,
yeah.
2 boys, yep.
And what's your role in the business?
Well, Vella
Besides
Wines.
looking after the kids.
Yeah, so Vella Wines as a whole, I look more after the cattle side of things.
Cattle?
Yes.
I thought we were here for wine. Yeah. So, good farmers grow good grapes, don't they?
Absolutely.
So, there's obviously the other side to the business is the cattle and farming side.
Yep.
And that's your passion?
Yep. I love it. Yep, love the animals.
How many cattle have you got?
We've got about just over 50 breeders at the moment.
Wow.
We sold about 30 weaners, so just last week.
What's a weaner?
Just calves that we took off their mums.
Okay.
So it's going
any other animals on the farm?
We've got a few sheep, we've got my 2 dogs, and we've got chickens.
Okay.
Yep.
No horses yet?
Not yet, but they're coming.
They're coming? All right, so we got a little bit sidetracked, but we'll get back onto the Chardonnay. So I always do the usual wine things. So the colour, what would you... So this is layman's talk, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be what it says on the label or anything like that. But colour?
I think it's a nice light colour, which I like in my Chardies. I don't like them very yellow, so I think the colour's nice.
It's almost a straw colour, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got very clear, looks fresh.
Yes.
What year were we?
That one's a 17.
A 17?
Yeah.
Okay. What are we smelling on the nose?
Don't
look at him. What you're smelling doesn't have to be right or what's on the label, but...
I don't know.
You don't know? Wine?
I'm
smelling
white wine.
Okay. Barrel aged on oak?
On oak, yes.
Yeah.
French oak.
French oak?
Yes.
Wow. And for how long?
12 months.
12. See, you know what you're talking about. So we'll have the all-important taste test. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's...
Very smooth.
Very smooth. I can just taste the hint of oak right at the end, and it's got a beautiful aftertaste. I think when I grew up, when people were drinking Chardonnay, it had a really bad name. But doing the wine show and getting all these amazing wines, I actually started to get a real taste and liking for Chardonnay. I'm trying to influence other people who aren't crew supporters to drink it. Cracking Chardonnay for $35. Where would people purchase it from?
The website, Vella Wines.
Yeah. So an online store on the website?
Yes.
Excellent. And any bottle shops?
The Ed Cellars.
So the Edinburgh Hotel,
yep.
They've got a great wine range in there.
They do. They're fantastic. And East End Cellars.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And if people are lucky enough and they put a decent comment in, they might actually win a bottle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pretty good show, isn't it?
Definitely.
All they have to do is comment, and obviously we're going to put a little bit of a special on there as well, so all the viewers can jump on the website and order and get a discount.
Yep.
So Chardonnay, I think it's one of my new favourites, and this was an absolute cracker, even though I think food-wise, what would we pair with it? What would you pair with it?
I'll drink it with anything, really.
Right, okay. Is that good? It doesn't matter? Or does it not need food?
I think you can have it with or without food.
Yeah. I'm going to say some barramundi or some King George whiting.
Yep.
Kangaroo Island King George whiting.
Beautiful.
That would go all right, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
Did you make any?
What? No, I didn't. Sorry.
You didn't get them.
I did go out fishing, but I didn't catch anything.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, thanks very much for coming on, even though you didn't really want to.
Cheers.
And I think your wine's an absolute winner. So we're here with Vella Wines. Mark, welcome to the show, mate.
Well, thank you for having us.
And we're on, I'm not sure, I'll get your opinion on it. Would emerging varieties be a good segment?
Yeah, emerging varieties for sure.
Because I'm tossing it up between emerging and alternate.
Yeah.
But someone said alternate could be you're having a wine that's, for a different reason.
Yeah.
But
No, emerging for the region, I think.
Yeah.
We started in 2013 with 2 traditional wines for the Adelaide Hills, which is Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
Oh, hang on. Pinot. So, my absolute favourite. So you've won me over already. As soon as you said Pinot, I was won over. So you started with the traditionals.
Yep.
And now you've
ventured out.
Yeah.
Ventured out. We had vineyards where we're in a situation 8-9 years ago where varieties were in over demand.
Yeah.
And we had clients and ourselves that needed to look outside the circle. But the hard thing in the wine industry, when you look outside the circle, is it's like me thinking about what you're going to be wearing in 5 years' time. Because by the time
don't have that many.
By the time we change a variety over, replant it, get it up and growing and producing wine, it takes 5 years.
Yeah.
So
minimum 5 years.
Minimum 5 years.
And did we regraft or did we just replant the whole?
Yeah, we replanted. So.
And what varietals did we choose?
So we chose Pinot Blanc and Gamay.
Pinot Blanc and Gamay.
Yeah. When I mentioned Gamay for the hills, the first person I spoke to about Gamay, because I needed a couple of other winemakers to go in with us because there'd be too much fruit for what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And I mentioned it to a couple, and they first looked at me as if I had 2 heads, thinking, "What are you going to do with Gamay in the Adelaide Hills?"
Why would that be? They didn't think it was
the
right climate? Or?
Yeah, they didn't think it worked. I'd done a lot of homework on it. Jen, being originally from Switzerland, we're trying to find an alternate that we thought would suit. Not that Gamay and Pinot Blanc are from Switzerland, they're French varieties.
Yeah.
But they grow a lot of both of them in Switzerland. So that was after looking at weather, topography, temperatures, soils, comparing to overseas. You need to look outside the circle a little bit on what will suit the Adelaide Hills.
Yeah.
We've got lots of great traditional varieties. So some people would say, well, why reinvent the wheel? Which is 100% true, as the hills are known for Chardonnay, Pinot, Sauvignon Blanc, and Pinot Gris.
Yeah.
So looking outside the circle can be a bit different, but we thought, look, let's have a crack. And 10 years later, we've got 2 cracking varieties for the Adelaide Hills with lots of following.
Do you think the whole Australian wine industry has changed it in the last 10 years to be a lot more climate focused, so the right varietals for the right climate?
Absolutely.
That's what,
absolutely.
I'm a novice and I hardly know anything, but what I've picked up from everywhere we've been is everybody, I'll say the new age winemakers have come in and gone, this is going to grow perfectly here. Like you said, a massive amount of homework to find out what works, and that someone's got to take the risk first. Like you said, you've got a few people to go in with you to take that risk, and we've got varietals that they grow extremely well here, do they?
Absolutely. Yeah. Suited really well. Really well.
And that's what people are doing, aren't they? They're picking the right varietal for the right area.
Absolutely.
And then putting that little bit of Australian winemaking finesse on the top of it.
Sure.
And we're just climbing the ladder, aren't we?
Absolutely.
And we're young. Yep. We're extremely young in the wine world.
Young region, lots of young winemakers in the region, and new labels in the region as well, which is exciting. And we're all getting together and having a crack. I mean, it's great for me to have a Gamay or a Pinot Blanc, but it's even better when you've got 4, 5, 6 different labels in the Adelaide Hills all working together to make a new label for the region.
And your background is obviously growing the fruit.
Correct.
Yeah. And I did a little bit of homework because Anna made me. I don't usually do any, but I heard that if they want fruit in the Adelaide Hills, people come to you, whether you've got that fruit, but they'll come to you for advice, and you're a bit of a legend in the hills with your farming, I'll call it, farming grapes. And I've noticed that too, that once upon a time, someone grew the grapes and then gave them to the winemaker and they got what they were given. and that's what sort of wine was. But now it's a lot different, isn't it? You've got full control over the vineyard. You've got
that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
We're out there tasting the grapes, and you're saying what, 30 hours? You've got a 30-hour window to get the taste perfect, pick it, get it in the winery.
For that variety, for that Gewürztraminer, yeah.
Oh, that absolutely blew me away.
Yeah.
So, what is in this Pinot?
So the Pinot Blanc blend, it's 60% Pinot Blanc, 30% Pinot Gris, and 10% Gewürztraminer.
Yep.
We've been playing around with the blend. The first vintage we did was 2016.
Okay.
So we have been playing with the blend, but what you got to understand is the Gewürztraminer, even though it's only 10%, is really an overpowering.
Oh, it was a beautiful tasting grape.
Yeah. So,
I actually loved it.
Yeah.
I had about 6 while you weren't looking, but it was a great tasting grape. It was almost as good as any table grape.
Yeah.
But like you said, you said musk. When you said it had a musky
floral.
Yeah, floral flavour, I was like, yeah, whatever, that sounds like a winemaking term if I ever heard one. But as soon as I bit into it, I was
boom, there
yeah,
it is.
It was actually bizarre. So would it change year in, year out?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you're getting that right mix. It might be 12% one year, it might be 8% depending on the fruit.
Yeah, we went 15% the first year, which was too much. It was too overpowering,
Yeah.
and it made it too floral, and that's why we've brought it back to where it is. But predominantly, it's about the Pinot Blanc, and that's why it's 60% of the blend, and we're hoping to increase that a little bit more for vintage 22.
Okay.
But Pinot Blanc, it's exciting. It's different. You always look outside the circle when you're looking at a new varietal, and it's, as I said, it's got a suit. I look at the background viti-wise because I'm a viticulturist. That's my day job.
Yeah.
This wine game's an expensive hobby for us.
Yeah, right. You don't need to tell me about that. I know what expensive hobbies are like.
So, but my focus is in the vineyard, getting the grapes to the optimum level. So when the fruit comes into the winery, there's minimal intervention.
Yeah.
So if you have really good fruit to start with, you can make fantastic wine.
Someone told me that it's harder to bake a chocolate cake than it is make wine. If you've got the right equipment and the right know-how and the amazing fruit, then it pretty much does itself. So
that's
the key is the fruit, isn't it?
Exactly. It's about getting it right during the year in the vineyard, not cutting any corners. And then it's a winemaker's dream in the winery.
And Pinot Blanc's taking off, isn't it?
Taking
emerging.
off. It's an emerging variety.
It's probably already emerged.
Yep.
I would say it's probably in the top 3: Fiano, Pinot Blanc, and what would be your third?
Gamay.
Gamay. Right.
Gamay.
I was looking for a white, but anyway,
for white. Yeah.
That's fine. So I think you should crack into it. It's your house, your wine.
Absolutely.
I'm getting all excited about tasting it. I've only actually ever had 2 others.
Right.
So. Don't have much to compare it to, but
yep. So we're lucky in the hills now. There's 5 well-known brands in the hills that are doing the Pinot Blanc as well.
Yeah.
So we've got a little Pinot Blanc cult going.
Okay.
A long way to go, but there's only a couple of small plantings.
And where else in Australia is growing it?
There's hardly any Pinot Blanc. Adelaide Hills is...
No Tasmania, no...
Oh, there's a tiny bit in Tassie. There's a tiny little bit in the Yarra Valley.
Yeah.
But it's emerging variety.
Yeah, cool. That's exciting. So let's go for the look.
Yep. Nice golden straw look.
Golden straw, that's a great term, isn't it? That sums it up perfectly. It's still quite clear though, isn't it?
Yep.
And what year was it?
This is the 2019.
Right, so what about aging wise?
Aging, it'll age really well. Selling really well. Yeah. So when we were looking at the 3 different varietals to go into this blend, there's a wine called an Alsace wine called Gentile Hugel. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Oh,
Similar blends.
I could lie and say yes, but I won't.
Yep. It's an Alsace blend, and that's always been a wine that I've loved.
Yep.
Not that I'm trying to copy a wine, but that's something as a bench. You've always got to have a benchmark when you're making something. I want to make something, and I love something like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to replicate it, but can I
you
make
want
it
to
better
put
than that?
your spin on
and
it.
my spin on it.
Yeah.
And my story on it. So
what about on the nose?
On the nose, well, it's fruit driven.
Very fruit driven.
Yeah. It's got nice apple and nectarine.
Yeah, I was going to say
citrus.
Reminded me of a crispy pear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sound like I knew what I was talking about.
And then you get a bit of nuttiness, and then once you taste it on the back palate, then that's when the Gewürz comes out.
Righto.
The secret that we looked in the vineyard. Cheers. Thanks for coming.
What temperature would you usually serve it at? Is that in the fridge, take it out, let it sit a little bit to hit room temperature?
No one should take wine out of the fridge and serve it straight away. It needs to come out, it needs to sit on the bench. Everyone drinks wine too cold, and that makes it a closed up wine.
Yeah.
So, you take it out at 4 degrees, when it's 7 or 8 degrees, that's perfect, because then it opens up, you can make the most of the aroma, the flavour opens up as well.
It's, I've got a mate, Luke, he's from Gone Able Tours, and we've been arguing about it. He always said, it's too cold, let it sit for a while. And I didn't want to let him know he was right, but a lot of the white varietals, let them sit for, like you said, till they hit room temperature. Our room temperature is obviously probably too hot, but 10, couple of beers, I say. Have a couple of beers and then it should be ready. And like you said, it just opens up the wine so much more, doesn't it?
Different wine,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So what about at the end of it? There's no aftertaste or anything, is there? It's just smooth.
Well, it's smooth, crisp. It's about the fruit and about the acid balance. And I think there's a lot of flavour up front and a lot of punch up front. But then the Pinot and the Gewürztraminer just linger in the background. Yeah. So there's minimal oak in this. It's a hand-picked. All our fruit's actually hand-picked, but we hand-pick this. We de-stem it and we leave it on skins for a little bit of skin contact. Then after that, it goes into old oak and ferments in old oak.
So
and lives in old oak.
Old oak, for people who don't know, is so you don't
aged
get
French oak.
You don't get all the oak characteristics to overpower the wine.
Exactly. This is about the fruit. This wine's about fruit and acid, natural fruit, not about oak.
So the acid's definitely there. It's quite dry at the very end as well, which is wanting me to have a little bit more.
Absolutely.
What about a food pairing wise?
Oh, this is great for summer salads. It's good with seafood, and where we do really well is in Asian restaurants and Thai restaurants.
I was just about to say that.
Spicy Thai food, they go hand in hand.
Well, you're going to have to come down to where my office is, because we've got the most amazing Thai restaurant just around the corner.
Yep.
And I always thought Fiano.
Oh yeah.
We take Fiano there, but I reckon we're going to have to take some of this down there, and they're all actual Thai girls that work there from all different parts of Thailand. Yep. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm keen to take this down there and try it out on one of their really warm salads.
Beautiful.
So I think
nice larks.
As soon as I had it, I went, this could really deal with the spice.
Yep.
And I struggled. People said, what can you have with spice?
Yep.
And a lot of people say, oh, you can't have wine at all with spicy food. Yep. But it's just not true, is it?
No, this goes hand in hand.
So what about cheese-wise?
Cheese, no, cheese platters, absolutely.
Okay, so what have you prepared here?
Cheese platter.
Cheese platter?
Yeah, Nathan, you mentioned you liked, you could see a hint of pear or Nashi pear in there.
Crispy
pear.
Yeah, that's right.
I've got some pear here, so a bit of brie.
Where's the pear come from?
The pear's from the farm, man. That's Jen's job.
Right.
Looking after the farm, running those cattle, got the orchard. Nothing like your own produce.
Yeah.
So
I've actually got my kids into growing their own produce.
Yep.
Cucumbers, tomatoes. They've got a few fruit trees.
Try that.
Oh, look at that. It's like your paws, a decent serving. All right, so you're going to have to tell me a little bit about where people can purchase this wine from.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, online, for starters, we've got online purchasing through Vella Wines on our website. Mm-hmm. From there, we've got distribution in South Australia with Sol Wine Merchants.
Okay.
They do a fantastic job for us. Local bottle shops in Adelaide. The list is a mile long, but the main ones like the Edinburgh Cellars, Goodwood Cellars, East End Cellars.
Right.
Big supporters.
What about restaurants? Any restaurants?
Lots of restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of restaurants in Adelaide are supporting us now, which is exciting. And
any Thai restaurants?
Yeah, there are. Yeah, there's a few.
I reckon I've got one for you that we could get it in.
Good.
For sure.
Good.
They actually own a couple. This is a great pairing.
It is a good pairing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a great pairing.
So, but it also goes well with meats like prosciutto, and.
You know what it would have went well with? A biscuit.
A biscuit. Mm. What's wrong with the homegrown pear?
Oh, the pear was delicious, and was that triple brie or double brie? Because it's quite creamy, that cheese, isn't it?
Triple brie.
And the acid cutting straight through it.
That's it.
Beautiful.
Enjoy?
I would never have dreamed of putting that strong a cheese on top of the pear, but it actually worked really well.
Yeah.
Funny about that, but.
And the acidity in the Blanc cuts through the fat and the cheese as well. So, you can sit back on a beautiful day outside, enjoy the sunshine, and you can drink this all day. You
know what I'm going to pair it with? And I'm going to invite you down. I'm going to get the Skip, who's over the west coast, crayfishman. He's going to bring us some crayfish. We'll make crayfish chu-chi, crayfish curry, and we'll see how it goes.
Cheers. Enjoy. Thank you.
All right, on the spot, 60-second wine tastings. Ready, set, go.
I'm Mark Vella, Vella Wines. We're looking at the 2017 Pinot. Pinot, your favourite. The Pinot it's a medium body red.
Got 60 seconds, mate.
No.
Oh, you poured yourself one, not me.
Start again.
All right, no, keep going.
No, keep going.
You only got 60 seconds, keep going.
It's a medium body red. It's a fruit driven wine.
Very fruit driven.
Full of strawberries.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Full of strawberries, raspberries, natural acidity. It's got good tannin. It's a great foodie wine. Have it with duck, have it with beef tartare.
Righto, see you later.
When your heart is racing at